Travis, there's
Hey,
no music. There's no music.
hey. Hey, look, I got a new tusk. You like my tusk?
Oh, that is cool.
Like my tusk? My uncle that just passed away, he carved that before he died.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Miner representing
Snacks.
snacks. Hey, Clint, we got a special guest.
Right. And I'm not here for the whole podcast, people. So
No, and you're not. You're not
if
here for
you
the
want
whole
more of
podcast.
Travis and less of me, this is your podcast.
This is it. That's right. Listen, we've had a list of pie in the sky guys,
Right.
like folks we like, man, if we could only get him, or them, whatever. And we've had, different levels, but the other day I just decided to shoot my shot, and this person responded, said, "Yeah, let's do it." I was like, "Heck yeah." And we asked him to be on our episode where we go through the schedule and make our predictions. None other than David freaking Bazzel.
The Baz.
The Bazzelhoff. Whatever. Man, great Arkansan. I'll do a little intro later, but he man, a guy that's done so much for this state, done so much for the Razorbacks. He's one of those guys you feel like you know already, even though you don't really know him because you listen to him on the radio so long and seen him on TV and all that kind of stuff. But we just appreciate him coming on, man. He is a busy man. He was in the middle of lots of stuff going on. He's got Peyton Manning coming in next week for the Touchdown Club. Just had Laura Rutledge in this week. He's doing his radio show. He's doing all his awards, with all the different trophies he does, and Bros Award and everything else, organizing all that good stuff. And yet he still took time out to hang out with Big C and Bigger T. Although Big C kind of gets scolded.
Did I got scolded. It was like it was one of them like, man, it's a chance to show the Baz what we got. This quality podcast that we have. And Baz lets me know how terrible I am at podcasting. No, he wasn't that mean, but it was funny. I really was doing everything I can to make it work, because when you get the Baz on, he says, "Look, I can carve you out 30 minutes right here. You figure out a way to make it work the best you can." And that's what I did. And apparently my best wasn't very good, but we gave it a shot.
That's right. We gave it a shot. So enjoy David Bazzel.
Kick it, Sean Michelle.
1, 2, 3, 4. You ever seen a lame man walk? Ever heard a dumb man talk? Never seen a blind man see? I promise you a change his life. You ever seen a cancer dead? Ever seen all the poor get fed? Never seen a prisoner set free? I promise you a change his
What's up, everybody? How you doing? This is your boy Bigger T in the Big C and Bigger T podcast. Now listen, normally when we have special guests, I just pass by Clint and just get on to the guest. But Clint's actually joining us from Utah right now. He's out in Vegas.
Right. What?
So
What the crap, Utah? It is nothing.
So if we lose Clint, though, folks, we'll just keep rolling because he's falling off in some gorge in Utah, okay? But we have a special guest tonight. This man came to Arkansas, was 1980, I believe, right? 1979, 80?
81, you're close.
81, I was close. Recruited by Lou Holtz to come and play for the Razorbacks. He, listen, folks, Bo knows number 53.
There you go.
Bo knows number 53 because number 53 with his did you had a neck roll, didn't you?
I did. Neck rolls and
Yeah.
mustaches back in my ear.
That's right. That's right. And but he let Bo Jackson know who he was back then in the Liberty Bowl. And so not only that, he's a man of many talents, host of Morning Mayhem on the 1037 The Buzz, longtime radio guy, TV guy. He sells stuff on commercials all the time. He's he's created. Look, I don't know if he's created the most trophies.
Yes, I have.
I guarantee he's created the heaviest trophies.
I have both, most and heaviest.
Pound for pound, the biggest trophy maker in the world. Okay, David Bazzel, how you doing, man? Thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be on with you, Travis. Clint, I don't know how comfortable I feel. I think there's something you're doing that's violating driving laws in Utah by doing this podcast while driving. I'm going to act like you're stopped and pulled over to the side of the road, and I don't see what's happening here. But hopefully you're safe and sound. But yeah, listen, great to be on with you guys. Travis, you were in our Clergy Bowl on our morning show years ago. Appreciate you doing that. And I understand you guys have been doing this podcast for a couple of years, and it's football time, man. It's busy, crazy time, and glad to jump on with you boys.
Well, and Baz is a busy man. He's got a public showing deal he's got to be at tonight, and then he's got to travel up to my old hometown of Clinton, Arkansas, to hang out at the World Championship Chuck Wagon race tomorrow morning for the show. So what we've asked him to do is we're going to go over, as we have the last couple of years, we're going to go through the schedule and just make our predictions on how the Hogs are going to do game by game through the schedule. And then we'll see what we end up with as far as win-loss record that way. Okay, so we're going to go game by game. So Western Carolina coming in this week. They moved the game time up to 12 o'clock, saying it's for weather purposes. I think it's so everybody can sleep in their own bed quicker. That's okay. We're fine with that. Baz, what do you think?
Yeah, they could play it at 12 o'clock at night. It doesn't matter. The line's 34 on this. As you know, historically, the last 10 years, Arkansas has not played well at times against FCS teams. This is a team that's, had 500 yards in offense, I think, a game last year, but they were 6-5. I think they, if Sam Pittman doesn't take the foot off the gas, they should cover the line at 34 and win this game pretty easily. Easy way to start 1-0.
Clint, what do you think?
I 100% agree with Baz.
And I do too, man. I hope it's one of those games you go into it, you have a good lead at halftime, you put your starters out for one series in the second half, and you rest them the rest of the way.
Right.
I hope that's the way you do it, but we'll see. The next week we have Kent State coming into town. Don't really know a lot about them, but know that it should be a game we're going to be favored in for sure. Baz, what do you think about Kent State?
Yeah, the Golden Flashes will not flash much in Fayetteville. That's we move easily to 2-0 with a lot of stats for KJ and those running backs.
Okay. Clint?
We've had slip-ups in the past when we went against the MAC teams. Lito comes to mind. But I think this team's just wired a little bit different, and then we get to them pretty easy.
All right. Yeah, I think I like the way this schedule builds, and I think we'll have a good showing against them also. Next is BYU. Last year, we beat them, of course, 52-35 in their place. They're coming back here. I don't know if they're going to bring ice cream with them this time or not, give out to the fans, or what the Hog fans, if we're going to give them some pork sandwiches or something. I don't know. But Baz, what do you think on that one?
Yeah, I was out there for that. That was an unbelievable setting for a football game. My first time to BYU, and they were super nice. All the fans were. And remember, that was where we heard Sam Pittman tell Barry Odom it didn't matter if they rushed for 5,000 yards, drop 8 because we could not cover anybody, and they were just gouging us. Mm-hmm. And then KJ, that's when he said, I lift weights. They couldn't put it down and won that game. That was a big game. I think we'd lost a few games in a row. And so that was important to get that win, put us on a little winning streak for a couple of games. And I think we'll win again. I don't know how good they are this year, but I think we're better. We'll move to 3-0 with this one.
Got
Yeah, I think it's our first true test, but at the same time, I think we're just a better football team. I think we've got a legit SEC 2 deep, and it's going to show.
All right. And once again, I'll reiterate it. I like the way this schedule builds right here. Okay, I think we're playing a lesser opponent, a little bit better opponent, and here, this one's going to be a test for the reasons you said, Baz. Same reasons they were last year with our pass defense. But I like our defensive ends getting to them, and so I think I got us for a win on that one too. But then here's where it starts, folks. This is when it gets starts getting kind of scary. We go to LSU. It's the next game, right after BYU. Baz, how are you feeling about LSU?
Well, obviously, you know that I've got a strong tie to this thing because of the trophy and you know, for I guess this will be the 29th year we play for, 28, 27, something like that. Here's the thing I don't like. LSU will have already played 2 really tough games. Florida State, top 10 team, Mississippi State Conference game. For us, it'll be the first time that we face an elite team. I think that will be difficult for us to deal with that for the first time, dealing down there. I don't think we get the win. I think LSU gets that win.
Okay, Clint.
If the game during the day is strange, I would predict LSU. Tonight, we've seemed to have success in Baton Rouge at mine. But that being said, they do have the quarterback situation figured out at LSU. So I'm going to give LSU the nod. I don't want to, but I predicted them undefeated last year and blew up on them. So I'm going to pick LSU.
Well, sadly, we're going to go 3 for 3 on this one because I never want to pick LSU ever. I don't pick them if they're playing Toledo, but I think LSU is going to win the West this year. I think they're gonna have a really good team this year. And they make me nervous. So, I got us for a loss also. Then we're going to head to Arlington and play Texas A&M. Neutral site game. How many more of these we have, Baz, of the neutral site?
I wouldn't be surprised if this was the last one. So, you know, which is fine. I think we sort of played this thing out. Time to move on. Obviously, got Texas and Oklahoma coming into the conference. I still think we might try to play a game in Texas or in Dallas, but I think this will be it. I think we'll go to home and home with these guys and give those players a chance to experience the College Station and the Aggies a chance to see what it's like to play in Fayetteville. So, listen, we have been snake bit with this game. It's horrible. I'm not sure which is worse, which I hate worse. Leaving the stadium at Jerry's World for year after year after year after year, except for one, with a loss that we've somehow figured out a way to lose. Or Missouri, which we never have won in Missouri, even that place.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to lean towards Arkansas in this game. I think, Texas A&M still doesn't have – they don't know who their main quarterback is, but obviously the big factor is Bobby Petrino there. Just because I'm talking to you guys, I'm going to say we figured out a way to get the win with a healthy KJ, and that's a huge step for us to get a win against A&M.
I think a lot of it depends on how the marriage between Petrino and Jimbo's going. If it goes like I think it's going to go, I think it's going to be an easy win for Arkansas. I want to pick Arkansas, but I can see it going the other way. It's like Bass said, they don't have the quarterback situation figured out. And Jimbo's had play calling duties taken away from him. He didn't willingly give them.
Yeah.
So I think that could be a rocky road right there for them too.
I'm going with Arkansas for the same reason Clint just said. I'm betting on the fact that Jimbo and Petrino were not going to be a marriage made in heaven. If they were to somehow put those egos aside and make it work, it can be a very scary thing with the athletes that A&M can pull in. I mean, they've always had great athletes. They just couldn't do anything on the field with them. And so I think that there's going to be headbutting when it comes to that. And I think it's early enough in the season. If they figure it out, I think it's going to be later in the season before they figure it out. So I'm going to go with Arkansas. Plus, the players, you hear them talking, they hurt from that loss last year, the way they lost it. And I think they want that game bad. All right, next is Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin. And once again, this is in a whole, LSU started Arkansas being away. So we got LSU, A&M, now Ole Miss, and going to be Alabama the next week, all away. Okay, so that part of the schedule is a gauntlet. So Baz, what do you think?
Well, just let me stop here. I'm Clint. I hate to be. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out predict these scores, but because I do radio every day. Are you listening to music while we're doing this podcast? Do I hear like the radio on?
My wife's driving, so you probably do hear it.
Oh my gosh! Even your wife doesn't care about what we're talking about. If that doesn't tell you where we are, I was about to say, are we listening to
you made that joke, Dusty turned it down, but yeah.
I was about to say we're trying to talk. I think we're having to talk over somebody playing the radio. So anyway, I just to bring that up. I was making sure I wasn't. I'm looking around in my house and I said, "Is my radio on?" Listen, if she wants to listen to that way she didn't have to listen to us. That's fine. I'm picking Ole Miss in this one. I don't want to. I know we got a chance to win. They are a high-powered offense. I think it's going to be like it was a few years ago, where it's 100-98, and we have a chance to win it, but they have so much firepower. It's going to be a fun game to watch, but I think they edge us barely.
Okay, Clint, what do you think?
It's at Ole Miss. There's going to be a lot of points scored. I'm going to go with Ole Miss begrudgingly, but I think it's going to be a shootout.
I'm going to say we're going to ride the momentum off the A&M win, and we're going to win this one.
Great.
I have in this gauntlet, I have us losing 2, and this ain't one of the 2. So I'm going to say a win. Plus, I like to see Lane Kiffin sad. So I'm hoping for that. Next comes Alabama. Alabama may not be the Alabama of the last couple of years. They're not quite settled. We don't know where they're at quarterback. They've lost some other players. Are they as strong as now? They're going to still be Alabama. They still got those 5 stars. They stack up every year. Okay. But Alabama at Alabama, 4th road game in a row for the Hogs. Baz, what do you think?
Yeah. How many years they've beaten us now? 15 years in a row.
Yeah.
I don't even. Yeah. Although we played them a couple times, tough. It's tough to win at that stadium. They're an excellent football team, and I think they the week before will have played at A&M, so we catch them at a good time. Now they might lose. That happened, a couple years ago when they went to College Station and lost. So you could catch them maybe after a loss at A&M. Never telling how well they can play. They got athletes. They just at A&M, but Alabama will come back, and they know whether they win that game or lose it. They know they got to beat us, and so as much as I'd like to see KJ get his first win against Bama, I just don't see us beating them down there.
Looks like we lost Clint, but I got to tell you, I think
Travis.
I think we're losing it.
Okay, that's what you're going to be. I was about to say, holy cow!
No.
That's all right.
I think, and be honest with you, even if Alabama's not that good, I think it could be an ugly one. Because I think the road gauntlet that they're in at that time, I think they're going to put so much energy into those other games before that.
Yeah.
Because I think those games, I think the A&M game, whether we win or lose, is going to be close.
Yeah.
I think Ole Miss is going to be close.
Yeah.
Like you said, it may be a ton of points scored. They're going to put a lot of effort into that, and it's going to be on the road. And then this game, to be honest with you, I don't even want to look at it. It's just a scary one to me. with
Yes.
the schedule the way it's laid out, and just Bama having the athletes they do.
Yes, that's a no
So-
fun. That's not that may not be a fun game, but you never know. We may go play them well. You don't know that.
Oh no, you never know. I mean, like you said, and then and Sam could get them, get them fired up and ready to go. And if you can't get fired up for Bama, who can you get fired up
That's
for,
right.
really? So
Exactly.
Mississippi State is next. This one's back at home in Fayetteville. Mississippi State's coming in. Of course, new coach after losing Leach and do they still have Will Rogers? He's still there, isn't he?
Yeah, they
Like
obviously excellent quarterback, and yeah, it'll be interesting. Of course, they will have won. They will have beaten Western Michigan 2 weeks before they play us. Then they get that week off before they play us, so they'll have a couple weeks to prepare, which sometimes can help you, sometimes can't. But this is the game. Of course, we always pick us, and they always, oftentimes Mississippi State ends up finding a way to win. But I like us picking up a win after being on the road for 4 straight weeks. We go home and we get the win there.
I agree with you totally. I think we, like I said, back home, friendly confines, people are cheering for us again. I think just the energy of the fans helps us pull that one out. Then we have a bye week, which is, I think at that time is going to be huge. And then we follow that up with Florida, at Florida, I believe.
Yeah, this at Gainesville.
So what do you think about the Gators?
I think that this is not a great Gator team, Travis, but I think, it's tough. Again, a very tough environment. We've never won down there. I think it'll be a competitive game. I think they'll do just enough to win. I think the home field advantage gives them a little bit of a chance to win. I think by that point, I think they will know a little bit more about who they are. And, like I said, again, I'd like to think that maybe we got a chance finally to beat them down there. If you're ever going to beat them, this is the year to beat them. I mean, this is the year to beat those guys, because that's not a typical Florida Gator team. And and plus you think about it, they will have played Georgia the week before, so they may be a little flat. So, but I think we lose in a close game, regardless, because it's down there.
Okay. This is one I could go either way on. I'm gonna agree with you on that. I think, I mean, Florida's always going to have athletes. We don't really know, I don't really know exactly what they have as far as replacing Richardson and some of the others. I haven't kind of kept up with that, but playing at the Swamp, I like that it's after a bye week, but still, I'm going to say a loss on that one also. Right. And then we go back home and we play Hugh Freeze, and Auburn comes into town.
Yeah, that's a game that, again, a lot of folks think that Auburn's going to be, a much better team, which I'm sure they will be. Hugh Freeze is a good coach. They've got talent. I think it'll be a good game. I think the fact that it's at Fayetteville gives us a chance. There've been a lot of historic games up there that have been back and forth and come down the wire. I think if everybody's healthy for Arkansas, we get a win in a close game there. A really big win if they can somehow pick that one off in Fayetteville.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze makes me nervous because he's a good play caller and look, Liberty last year.
Yep, that's right. Yeah.
But however, I agree with you. I think it being the first year, players getting used to him getting used to them, new system. I'm going to say we get the win on that one also back at home. And I like this game toward the end of the season. FIU comes in at home. This is a very Alabama move, having a softer. If I don't know, I mean, I don't know exactly how FIU is, but a softer opponent, right before they play usually the big Auburn game at the end of the year. So FIU coming into Fayetteville, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, you got a chance to know you've got Missouri up next, and you can win those last 2 games. So if you're fighting for a bowl bid, if you're at 6 wins, you're at 5 wins, whatever, that should be a W. Although we saw it wasn't against Liberty last year, disastrous loss against them. Weren't prepared to play, and they beat our butts. But I think FIU has some good talent down there. But we should win that game, and then that sets us up to. Depending on how you're doing the counting there, you're either going to be at 6 wins, 7 wins, or a chance to win your 8th win there against Missouri at home, depending on how the rest of the season goes. So it's the only place we can beat Missouri. I think we've only beat them there once, I think. And since we started this, I think we're, 1-7 against them. I think the last 8 times we played has been horrible. Maybe 2. I take that back. I think we've had 2 wins against them in Fayetteville. So I definitely think we get the win there. We really need to, to finish on a good note there.
Yeah. Well, and I pick FIU. I pick us to beat FIU also. I think I like the fact, like I said, later in the season, we have a team that if you need to get your team right, you can get them right. If you need to sit some people that are a little bummed up, that are, hurting a little bit, you can do that against them.
Right.
And still have a good chance, whether, still turn out, like you said, like a Liberty. And then now you finish up with Mizzou coming in, the borderline rivalry, another trophy game, one that, we're, as Arkansas fans, we don't want to say that they're a rival, but folks, they're a rival. They keep kicking our tails.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They're not a rival because we can't beat them. I mean,
that's right. That's
rival. Right. We're the embarrassment out of that. And it's ridiculous. Yeah. I know. Listen, my on-air partner Justin Moore, hates Missouri. I hate him too, but I hate them because we can't beat them.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people don't respect them, but they just laugh at us and say, you don't have to respect us, but we're beating you every year you come to Columbia for a decade, and I've only beaten them twice in Fayetteville. So, really be nice to finish the season. You never want to lose that last win at home. So, and I think we're good enough. KJ, that's will be the last home game for KJ. I think he gets the win there.
Don't you think the way we look at them is sort of the same way LSU looked at us?
Sure. Yeah.
Back in the day,
Sure.
Kind of like, they're not good enough to be our rival.
Yeah.
But we kept showing up and kicking their tail.
We did. Times. I think there was even, Travis, a better respect for LSU towards us for those years, although we weren't, listen, and those programs were similar, us and LSU, until Saban got there. Saban changed it. Before that, we were about at the same historical levels, winning national championship, all those things. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, listen, again, as I told earlier, I'm not sure which makes me more nauseous, the continual losing to A&M or the continual losing to Missouri, both of them, to lose.
Well, I think we'll win that one. And I think part of it is the flow of the schedule. Once again, I think last year taught me something. The way the schedule was laid out was difficult for any coach to keep, it was a tough schedule. And this one, I think, is front end tough, but I think the back end builds up to where we can end on a pretty good hot streak there. And, and so I think it sets up for that Missouri game to be a game to where our guys can be those that are bummed up pretty good. Like in the past, the bumper pools, the Grant Morgans that were dragging their arms out there and stuff like that, they can get out there and be ready to play in these type of games, because there's going to be some games where they can maybe get right, and get some breaks there. All right, so that leaves us with your prediction with 1, 2, 3, 4,
8-4,
5, 6, 7, 8-4. And mine,
I'll take that right now. What are you at?
Well, I'm 9-3, man.
I take that right now.
I take both of them right now, to be honest with you. I'd take it right now, man. That'd be a good hog year. And it's especially with this, once again, with this schedule. It's not an easy one, especially like I said, on that front end for sure. Well, Baz, man, we appreciate you coming on. I know you got big things going with the Touchdown Club.
Oh man, you need to come. Peyton Manning sold out in less than 5 hours, 1,300 tickets, just like that. So been another great. Sam Pittman was great to start it off. Laura Rutledge last week. Then you got, Peyton Manning, Tony Dorsett, Hunter Yurachek, Peyton Hillis, Jim McMahon. So just a great year. I appreciate you saying that. You love to have you guys come to a meeting sometime. I will say this. I want to apologize if I've caused a fight between Clint and his wife. So,
don't worry.
She said, she goes, get off that stupid podcast. I want to listen to radio. What Bazzel said. But I knew I could read music. I'm looking around. I mean, we're trying to do a podcast here. So
he deserves it. He deserves it.
I was to fight in that marriage. It's all my fault.
No, man, it worked out. It's all good. And seriously, folks, if you can't make the Touchdown Club, which I live in South Arkansas and work during the day, so I can't make it up there, but it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube, Facebook. And I always check it out on YouTube on Monday afternoons, to kind of after it's, said and done. And you do a great job interviewing them. I love the interview style. I think you were very wise to go to that a few years ago. I know you've talked about that before. I think that, to me, that's a lot better because when you said why,
cover a lot more ground and there's no pressure. And most of those guys and women don't want to give speeches. It just, and listen, this will be the biggest challenge probably I've ever had because Peyton Manning, I mean, there's so many different directions you can go with him. Just sort of like Terry Bradshaw. There's just, so it'll be really interesting. And listen, for us to have those kind of names coming in, it talks about the sponsorships we have and the passion for Razorback fans and really fans of all the teams. We've got a lot of ASU fans there in that club. We got UCA fans and Washington. I mean, it's the Touchdown Club for all, high school and college promotion of football. So we've had a great time. But again, the invitation is always there if you and Clint want to come in.
Oh yeah, for sure. And appreciate you on the radio, man. Once again, I was on the Clergy Bowl a few years ago. I always tell I've had 2 friends win it since then. Okay. But they got they got more wrong than I did. I finished third. Like I only missed 8 questions and finished third.
Yeah. You had a very competitive. Who were the ones that that won?
Well, it came down between Robert and Robert
Branscombe.
No, Robert Branscombe won and Michael McDaniel.
Oh yeah, I know Mike. Obviously, Michael's great. Michael's the Touchdown Club. Michael won in 2018. That was good competition.
But they won it with like missing like 12, 14 questions, and I only missed 8 of all the questions you asked.
Yeah, I guess it was pretty good.
Cossey and another guy tied with 6, and y'all had to go to a tiebreaker.
You represented well. That was I remember that.
It was fun.
Really close competition. So well done. Good job.
It was a lot of fun, man. I'll tell you, I was it was cool to meet you and Roger, but I was a huge Tommy Smith fan.
Oh yeah.
I grew up on Tommy, and so man, I was kind of nervous meeting him.
And
I don't get nervous meeting people very often, but
Tommy's a legend. We miss him. He's one of a kind.
Oh yeah, for sure. So. Well, Baz, thank you so much once again. We appreciate you coming on and being a part of this professional show we have here with Clint out in Utah listening to music. I don't know what's going on.
Listen, this is the first time I've ever done. I'm looking at him, Travis, and I see he's got the earpads. I'm like, earpads. I said, "Who's playing the music? Don't they realize he's trying to do a podcast?"
Yeah. Well,
you didn't say a word. You just kept doing it. And I thought, wait a minute. Now we got to get somebody's attention to turn that darn radio down. So,
well, man, when you told me you'd come do it, man, we were just trying to get it done.
Well, I know.
We knew he was going to be on the road.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you getting me in because I have to do that Buzz event tonight, but I appreciate it. And, God bless you. Keep up the support of the Razorbacks, and hopefully we'll have a lot of good things to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Well, folks, here we are. We're Bazless.
We
had Baz. We appreciate him stopping by and doing 30 minutes with us. Tell you, Clint, he's such a busy man.
Dude, yeah.
And I was afraid he wasn't going to be able to carve that out. Like, I mean, but so thankful he did, and so impressed that he did, because he, like I said, like he was literally, like after he left us. Well, you left a little early. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, I left a little bit early.
After he left us, he went to Boudreaux's for a trivia night. Then they drove to Clinton, and then they got to be on the radio early in the morning. And they were set up at the next morning up in Clinton. So for the chuck wagon races, national championship chuck wagon races, that's in my old stomping grounds up there. I remember when those started, Clint.
Oh yeah.
I remember when those started. My dad helped out with them. And anyway, so Clint was on with us as we picked through this was our big show where we picked through the schedule. And y'all just heard that. You just saw that. You saw mine and Bazzel's picks. You saw some of Clint's picks.
You did. I texted Travis the rest of my picks, but he was so focused on Baz, he didn't even pay attention to my text.
Well,
I was on location live in Utah yesterday. I was trying it from the back of the car. Like, I was having the hardest time getting logged in, because then to like connect to the audio, I had to make a phone call, and then it hooked up to the Bluetooth. And then apparently my earbuds were picking up the radio in the background. Baz like, "What do you got the radio on?" Like, so it's like,
yeah.
I did my darndest to try to make it happen from the road, and we did our best. But man, I tell you what, there's some parts of Utah that don't have the best cell reception in the world.
Yeah, I was worried so bad about the signal, I wasn't even paying attention to the music.
Yeah.
And then he brought that up, and I was like, oh, wow. And anyway, that was funny stuff. So
yeah, I was really hoping I could get through it with him before we just lost, and then it was like, crap. But
so as you saw with me and Baz said 8-4. Take that.
yeah,
That's a good season. I said 9-3. Clint also, once we got his picks texted in, Clint also said 9-3.
right.
Clint had Baz and I both had us losing to Florida. The last game we lose, which is interesting. We both have us losing that game after the bye week, which honestly, that may be better. That may be the best time to play them. I don't know.
I can't pick them to win at Alabama. I just
No.
Here's the thing. And last year had Chris Poopall been in and on that one play, and I've talked about before, instead of Bumper Pool, they might win that game, because I think Chris Poopall makes that tackle, and Bumper Pool was playing so hurt. He wasn't himself. I mean, he was doing the best he can, doing his darndest, but he just wasn't himself. So I think that in itself hurt that play, because I think he makes that tackle. It's what, 3rd and 25.
Yeah.
Do that, we get the ball back. We're on fire on offense. But until we beat them, we've gotten close several times. I mean, even last time we had the momentum, but until you beat them, I can't pick them to win it.
Well, and the fact that it is at Alabama also.
But Alabama doesn't exactly have the quarterback situation figured out. I mean, everybody hated Bill O'Brien last year.
Honestly, this may be the year to sneak up on them.
You can, but man, their defensive defensive personnel is just so good. I mean, it's just like, forever it was Alabama and Clemson. Now it seems like it's Alabama and Georgia. They're just going to be the two schools. And man, Alabama, they're close to. I mean, the wide receivers they have coming in and out of there every year. It is an embarrassment of riches that Nick Saban has found himself in, and
for sure.
So anyway, I got in Alabama. The rest of the schedule I think lines up nice. The trip to Florida scares you because it's at the Swamp, but now Florida, man.
And that string of away games at the beginning, that scares me. To be honest with you, I got us losing. I got us losing 3 of those. No, sorry. Yeah. No, I got us losing 2 of those.
Yeah. Because I got us losing.
I think we could lose more.
At Ole Miss, and then I've got us winning that.
I think we could lose more if we don't watch out on that.
Well, it's look, you could. I mean, BYU's not a walkover. I think everybody's got that as a win.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's a game you don't show up for. You can lose if you show up overlooking them. You can lose to BYU. I mean, and then the SEC is. I mean, there's not a bad SEC team on the schedule. I mean, people point to Missouri, and I know Bazzel was talking about like dadgummit, just can't believe we've never won there. I went to the Missouri game last year. It is not. I would not call that environment daunting at all. I mean, it's a nice environment, but it's not like, oh my God, I'm scared for my safety.
Yeah.
But who knows? But
that's Death Valley.
Yes, no, it's not LSU. I don't think it's the Grove. It's not, it's definitely not Fayetteville. So, but excited for West Carolina. Now, I don't know, did you talk to Baz much about, do you think this is the last Little Rock game?
No, we didn't talk about that. Like I said, we ended up going like 38 minutes and he only had 30. So,
yeah.
I was trying to get him out pretty quick.
Well, I was going to get on to you before that because I know you can get long-winded sometime and not mean to.
Yeah, well,
I'm not sure if you know that.
I know that. I know that very well, and I don't feel like I did. Just going through that schedule, man. I mean, me, you, and Big O went for a whole hour. Went through it.
Yeah, we did.
And so. No, we didn't talk about that, but that's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility that it's the last. I don't think it'll be the last. I think what it's going to come down to is they'll strategically put games there.
It'll be games like this one, I think. That's what you're going to see there going forward. I think the miracle on Markham's over. You're not going to see a school like LSU come into Little Rock. You're going to see your Western Carolina opening games. You'll start
in any in-state schools we happen to play. I think if we, in the future, if we play UAPB again, if we play, Arkansas State, UCA, what's to come on the schedule, they'll put that in Little Rock.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think if anything, I mean, they're literally bussing the players down for this game. And then and the whole reason they moved the time up was to get everybody home early. It wasn't because of the weather. I mean, moving it up like they did just put the fourth quarter in the hottest part of the day.
Yeah.
Is what it did. And that's when your players are more susceptible to injuries. So you're when they're putting out the most effort, they put out the most effort for the longest time. You're putting them in the biggest heat of the day. You're actually making it worse for them if you're not doing it just to, get everybody home early. So anyway, so Western Carolina, what do you think about this game? What do you want to, like this time next week, what do you want to have seen when it's all said and done from this team, this game? What do you think the goals should be?
I want to see a killer instinct. I want to see them put their foot on their neck early, and I want to see them end it.
Yep.
That's what I want to see. I want to see. I don't want to see KJ in the second half. I don't know if I want to see KJ in the second quarter, which that may be a little bit unrealistic.
Very well.
The other thing is that I'm looking to see is there's opportunity that's been presented. There's injuries on the offensive line. I think I saw Latham may not play, and that Devin Manuel, I think a lot of people had penciled in starting at left tackle. He's been hurt, and they're saying he probably won't play.
Yeah.
Have you heard the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
That Latham's probably going to play.
Yeah.
But I mean, for anything, he'll probably play a series or two just to keep a starting streak alive, and then Yeah, but you want to, but now you got Andrew Chambly, who there's an opportunity right in front of him now, and they don't come around often because a guy that, from the vibe you get from the coaches, thinks is a little bit more talented than you. But now you get the job. You get to strap it right out there first, watching KJ Jefferson's blind side. Can you take the job?
Yeah.
Can you take the job? I mean, it's listed as Manuel or Chambly, and it's probably going to be Chambly. So now can you take the job?
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. And then it opens up. I think they had Josh Street listed as second behind Latham. I doubt that Josh Street would be the first one in if he's down. I think, that's probably be Tyrese Crawford or maybe Marion Harris. I mean, I think I just don't see Street. I think they've always had that sixth guy that's the sixth guy no matter where they are. I think that's Crawford.
Yeah.
I just think the difference is, with Chambly and Manuel.
Well, what I want to see, I want to go back to your killer instinct idea.
Yeah.
I want to see us play one of these teams like we're supposed to play one of these teams. I want to see us go out, get up, 30 something in the first half, nice 38-point first half, something like that. Come back out in the second half, let your starters play one drive, and then start putting in the subs. That's the way these games should be played. That's the way these games should be played all year, not just this game. That's the way, honestly, Kent State should be played. That's the way FIU should be played toward the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to see that in those games. I want to see us to the level where we don't have any more Missouri States, where we're not out there playing for our life against weaker teams. Because we're better than these guys. Okay, we're better. They've got some. They're going to pass. They got some good players that are a little too short or a little lighter than to be D1 players. And their coach talked about that. I listened to some of his press conferences. He's got some good players. He's got a running back that's 5'7". That's really good. They got a big offensive line. Their coach thinks they have 3 offensive linemen that's going to play in the NFL. They got some big, tall, strong guys, on the offensive line. That shouldn't matter. They still should not be able to block our defensive line. We should still get to the quarterback on them. Our defensive back should still be able to guard their receivers. I want to see us play like we should play, is what I want to see. Not, well, at least they got some things to work on. Because it seems like that's all we've been doing the last few years. We haven't gone into one of these games and played it. Have we played one of these games like we should? I mean, like where we just went and beat them. And like I said, give KJ the first drive of the second half and that's it. I mean, I don't think we have.
Yeah.
I think we've played down to teams like this. And I want to see us go out there and play this team like Alabama plays teams like this, like Georgia plays teams like this. Because this is half of Georgia's schedule this year is teams like this.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. There's some individual things I want to see. I want to see the D-line living up to the hype. I want to see the D-backs showing some life. I want us to start off without, where we're not 131 in the nation. Yeah. Okay.
I want to sit at the end of this game. The opening game tells you something. Like Sam Pittman's first game when we played Georgia. And you could tell at the end of that first half, like this team's it's not Chad Morris's Arkansas anymore. You know what I'm saying? Tell at the end of that game. And then you could tell like at the end of the Rice game, KJ year before last. You can tell like, okay, this team's going to have some resiliency, and then last year's Cincinnati game, you're like, whoa, this secondary is not very good without Catalan. So I think you're going to learn where this team is. I know you're playing an FCS team, but you're going to know what type of team we have.
Yeah,
and they're going to have tape against somebody other than their own players. It's a real game. It's going to be good. It's going to be intense. I want to see that. I'm Killer Instinct. That is still just 100% what I want to see. And I'm like you. I want to see us do to one of these teams. This team don't belong on the field with you, and you need to show it. You need to show it early, and it seems like the players have got that message.
Yeah,
you're going to know if they're up 30-something at halftime. You're going to know KJ's the leader that he says he is, because his team's listened to him and got the message. So.
Did you hear who the captains were voted?
I did. Jeff Coat, Jackson. So he went with 6 this year because some of them were just so close that he's like, who am I to say 5? He goes, I'll go with 6. And then no, I think it's a good mix.
I think Cam Little.
You see him a lot with on Instagram and stuff, being like the guy with a lot of teammates around him. Stuff like that. So I think he's probably a good choice.
I think so. I think it's a good choice. I think it's interesting seeing a transfer like Jeff Coat.
Yeah.
Already being the guy, one of the guys. I think it's a good group. I'm excited about it. And all right, well, Clint, listen, man, let's wrap it up.
Well, it sounds like you did most of the hard work yesterday. I apologize to Baz about being in Utah, but it was a gorgeous trip, but it still was.
When's the jiu-jitsu tournament?
Yeah, I got just around. I don't compete till Friday.
Okay.
A good friend Aaron, who's sitting up, he's being quiet on the other side of the house over there. He's competing tomorrow, so wish him luck.
Cool.
And other than that, just have fun, enjoy Vegas, and then road trip back.
Well, cool, man. Yeah, y'all have a blast. Folks, like and share this. We want to, say a big thank you to Baz for coming on here and being a part of this. And, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to make time for us.
Bazzel's one of them guys. He was born in Florida, but he's in Arkansas.
Oh, he's one of the best Arkansans.
Yeah, 100.
We got, man.
Yeah.
He could be president of Arkansas right now.
Listen, if the aliens land in Arkansas said, take me to your leader, I wouldn't go to Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
No.
I would go to the Baz. Look at this beautiful man. There.
That's right.
Baz.
Like if we seriously, if aliens came down and said, we need one person to represent your state, I'm sending Baz.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be between him and John Daly, but for different reasons.
Yeah, that's right. Entertainment value. That's right. Yeah, that's right. It's a good call. Good call. And I think Baz would agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely different reasons why I send one over the other, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Clint, man, have a blast in Vegas. Hey, baby, let's go to Vegas. Anyway, have a blast out there. Hope your fight goes well. Your competition goes well, whatever you call it.
I don't know. I just match.
Pajama wrestling.
Pajama wrestling.
Hope it goes well and kick some tail, whatever you're supposed to do. And folks, like, share, comment, subscribe, post this bad boy on your Insta X feeds.
All over the interwebs.
Later. Hey, later, y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Peace out.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt. See, that's why I swear when I work, my hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard drive so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I swear when I work, my hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come.